A major three-day conference wrapped up last month where people from over 100 countries descended on Toronto to attend what has been called the single most important tech event in the world. This year's event brought in over 36,000 attendees, including the brightest minds in the tech industry, alongside innovative startups to global tech giants. Caldwell Securities also attended the Collision Conference in Toronto to stay on top of the latest trends in the tech sector. Well, joining us now to give us his take on this year's Collision Conference is Brendan Caldwell, Director of Caldwell Securities Ltd. Brendan, welcome back to Forum Daily.
Thank you. So if I heard you correctly, Nima, all the brightest minds in the world were there. Oh, and Caldwell Securities was there too, just to clarify.
Including Caldwell Securities, definitely, Brendan. Now, as we mentioned, you were just at the Collision Conference in Toronto. So what would you say was the most exciting thing you learned?
Just the vast array of interesting, innovative products and ideas, from computer apps to robotics to artificial intelligence. And so much of it is homegrown. Hundreds and hundreds of companies, but an awful lot of them were Canadian-based or Canadian-connected, that our country continues to be a real hotbed of technological innovation.
That's great to hear that there's a strong Canadian presence at the conference. Now, was there anything alarming or surprising that you may have learned? Anything that may be disruptive to our world or to the markets?
Well, if there was a single speaker that resonated with me, it was a man named Aidan Gomez, who is the founder of a company called Cohere, which has got a lot of media press in terms of artificial intelligence. It's probably one of Canada's leading lights in that space, with NVIDIA and other big institutional and industry investors having made a recent investment in their company. He had a really good comment that for 100 years, the idea of robots or some sort of artificial intelligence taking over from us as people, something that we created coming to dominate us, has been rattling around our imagination. And it actually was 100 years ago. A play by a man named Karl Čapek was translated to English, in which the word robot first appears in our language. And yeah, sure enough, it's an apocalyptic type vision of the future. But I think that with that perspective in mind, one should keep an open mind about what AI can do. It's going to be years, possibly even decades, before we see it come to fruition. But artificial intelligence as a tool that will allow us to do more and create more better, quicker, with a lot of the mundane tasks being taken away from the so-called white-collar work that automation did to help speed up and increase productivity in the blue-collar jobs. I think it's not so much something that's to be feared as to be embraced, notwithstanding 100 years of indoctrination that we put ourselves through in movies, TVs, and the original play.
Definitely something interesting, definitely something to keep our eyes out for as we continue to develop the AI sector and robots sector. Now, Brendan, just about a little over a minute left here, but let's talk a little bit more about tech stocks in general. So where do you see them heading in the near future?
Well, in the very near future, the world is entirely unpredictable, but I do think that the technology sector has had a real move up in the last 6 or 9 months since the turn of the year. It was probably overdone to the downside because of higher interest rates and the idea that the present value of future earnings would be heavily discounted in a higher interest rate world. But companies like Microsoft that stand to benefit from AI will probably continue to do well, notwithstanding any short-term volatility. So this space, this sector is not sorted out as to who the winners will be. But I think the overall sector will be a powerful one for changing the way we think about and actually going about doing the business of, well, so much, including my own profession, of what we do right now.
All right, Brendan, quick 30 seconds left here. But if you could leave us with one message in terms of what you're looking forward to in the tech sector, what would it be?
I'm looking forward to both what comes next, but also how the various changes that we've seen will actually manifest themselves. I do think, for example, that in a world where governments can be trusted less and less with their own fiat, with their own paper currencies, that there will be a place for Bitcoin, and even more of a place for the blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology that that empowers it, because I think there's going to be much better ways of keeping track of things than we've had up to this point. But that's one that's still in its infancy. Artificial intelligence still very much in its infancy. So I'm looking forward to not just what comes next, but how the technologies that we've already seen begin actually get manifest and rolled out in industries as diverse as automobile production and law.
Definitely, Brendan. Always great having you on Forum Daily. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Nima.
We'll be right back.